welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. I'm Silver, and finally back with us,
Chaotic. You see, it's been so long that he can trick me with that again. Because why not?
just a little trickery.
I think your name needs to be Loki at this point.
Well, Loki's already taken, and we just so happen to be talking about one of Loki's children today.
Yay!
We are talking about Sleipnir. Have you ever heard of Sleipnir, Chaotic?
I have not. I might know the lore as opposed to the name, but I have not heard of them just by name.
Well, Sleipnir, he is gray in color. He is a horse, and he has 8 legs.
He has what?
8 legs?
Is he a spider?
No, he doesn't quite have the thorax. He's more all horse, all more legs.
I don't like that. Anyways, would you consider him an arachnid?
No, I
Not
wouldn't.
at all?
I'd say more horse.
Okay. I'm not liking where this is going. But anyways,
More horse with bonus legs.
I'm not liking any of this. So now I'm just picturing a spider horse. And that's possibly worse than whatever I was picturing before.
Spider horse, spider horse.
Does whatever a spider horse does. Can he swing from a vine? No, he can't, because he's a horse. Look out. Here comes the spider horse.
There is some more interesting things he can do than swing from a vine.
Okay, hit me with him.
He is the fastest known horse, as he can outrun all other horses in Norse mythology. Oh yeah, Sleipnir is from Norse mythology as well.
Okay.
He is Odin's steed.
So Odin used his grandchild as a steed?
Yes.
Is that what I'm understanding here?
Yes.
All right.
He doesn't seem to have the same cognitive functions as one of the Aesirs or Jotuns. He's more of just a horse. He can also fly, kinda. He can run across the sky and also run across water.
He can run across. He's Jesus?
Pretty much. With 8 legs.
8-legged Jesus.
His name kind of refers to him running as Sleipnir.
Okay.
Kind of means slippery or gliding. He's a slippery horse.
Slippery horse.
Mhm.
Slippery. Oh, I'm not even going to say it. Nope. Not going into that. Anyways, moving on. Something, this doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but while we're doing podcasts tonight, Chaotic is on Neopets doing the Wheel of Monotony. So I'll let you guys know if we hit the wheel by the end of the episode. Anyways.
Have you heard of the origin of Sleipnir?
No.
I imagine once I start talking about it, it'll ring a bell.
Oh, I can imagine.
Right at the beginning of the gods' settlement, when they were starting to build a wall and build Valhalla, a unnamed builder came up to them and offered to build a fortification wall around it. And in exchange for building this wall, he asked to have the sun, the moon, and Freya.
Oh, that's a big ask. Freya is a big ask on her own, let alone the sun and the moon on top of that.
It put the world in darkness both day and night. But after some debate, the gods agreed to this, but placed some restrictions on the builder.
Okay.
Not thinking he would be able to do this job. So the builder must complete the work within 3 seasons with help of no man. The builder makes a request, though, to let his faithful stallion help him, named Swadifalri. I probably mispronounced that, but we'll keep rolling.
Yep. We're gonna roll right through it. We need to hire a pronunciator, or just bother Aaron at all points.
Yeah, Aaron or Loki.
Yeah, that's true. Loki too. Loki's a flawless pronunciator.
So Svaldilfari. Svaldilfari. I think that was closer, but that's his the builder's trusty stallion. So with this stallion, the builder was able to perform twice the deeds of strength as the builder and haul enormous rocks in order to build the wall faster, the fortification up faster than the gods expected,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it looked like the builder was actually going to meet his deadline 3 days before the end of the third season.
Oh.
So with the gods seeing this, and they conveniently convened that in a unanimous agreement that Loki was to blame for it,
I love that.
because Loki allowed him to have the horse to use to build it. So if they would lose Freya and the moon and sun, the gods declared that Loki would get a horrible death because of it if he did not find a scheme to fix it. Loki was afraid of these threats.
Uh-huh.
He swore himself an oath that he would devise a scheme to cause the builder to forfeit the payment, whatever it would cost him, whatever it will cost himself, as in Loki.
Right. I mean, in Loki fashion.
So later that night, when the builder drove Svaldafari out to the woods to get another load of wood and stone,
Mm-hmm.
out ran a mare. The mare neighed at Svaldafari, and Svaldafari took a liking to this mare. He then became so frantic, he neighed and tore apart his tackle and ran off towards the mare, which made the builder run off towards Svaldafari. The horses ran around all night,
Mm-hmm.
causing the builder to be held up in his work. And it just so happened to hold him up enough that he did not meet his deadline because he was chasing the horses around for so long.
Valid. Valid.
And after realizing he was not going to meet his deadline, the builder transformed and revealed himself to be a Jotun.
What now?
A Jotun?
What is a Jotun?
So you got the Aesirs, which were like I was gonna say Zeus, but it's like Odin, Thor, Freya.
Right.
I think Freya's Aesir. And then you got the Jotuns, which are kind of like your giants. And with the Aesir realizing he was Jotun, they disregarded their previous oaths not to harm him, and they hence called for Thor, who was out of town, to come.
He's just. I love that you say he's out of town. Like he's just. Man's just a town over. It's probably a whole other like galaxy, but
Kinda. They say he was off bashing the skulls of trolls in.
mm-hmm.
So when Thor arrives, he just bashes the skull of the builder in and called it good,
That's fair.
as Thor likes to bash skulls in with his hammer.
I would say that's very Thor-like behavior.
However, though, that was the last we actually ever hear of Svaldafari in any Norse myths. But Loki ended up coming back. But what he came back with was a 8-legged foal that he had given birth to.
That he gave birth to?
Yes.
That's, I mean.
Because Svaldafari caught Loki, and he, with his oath of doing whatever it cost him, he ended up being impregnated by Svaldafari. And had Sleipnir,
all right,
who he then gave to Odin. So that's how Sleipnir was born.
Oh, what a wild ride. I'm gonna be honest, that was a lot. That was a lot.
A couple other things Sleipnir is known for is his good stamina and possibly dark vision. He was able to run for 9 nights to, I believe, Hell's Gate, and then it was able to jump over top of Hell's Gate when they were on their way to go see if they can get Balder back.
Mm-hmm. Balder at the gate?
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta gate them Balders.
And have you ever heard of Siegfried and Fafnir?
Yes, I have.
So Siegfried's horse was called Grani.
Okay.
And Grani was Sleipnir's kin.
Okay.
Which means either Sleipnir had kids of his own, or Loki had more.
Interesting.
It could also mean kin, like how Odin and Loki were blood brothers. Maybe something similar to that.
I would agree. It's really wild. Like I know most mythology, everybody has some kind of like correlation, but it's always wild to see like who, where, what ties. Except for in Greece, where everyone's related to Zeus.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, it's probably related to Zeus.
Zeus in some form.
Definitely in some form.
A goose, bowl, person. Okay. Would you like to move on to media? That's all kind of had on some of
Yeah,
Sleipnir's origins. And
I would love to know where in media I could witness this beast.
okay, so there's a couple 8th century picture stones from the island of Gotland that depict 8-legged horses, which are thought to be Sleipnir.
Mm-hmm.
And both the stones feature a rider atop an 8-legged horse, which people think is Odin as well. Another place you can see it is the Thor Marvel movie.
Really? Why can I not think of where?
I believe it's the first one, or it could be the second one.
Okay.
When Odin appears in it, and Odin is on top of Sleipnir.
Huh.
Also in Marvel 616 in the comics era, makes an appearance as Svaldafari.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so this seems interesting. I want to kind of find these comics. So Svaldafari teams up with Loki's ex-lovers to get revenge on him for scorning them.
Oh, not like this.
Loki was actually able to defeat Svaldafari
Mm-hmm.
and all his ex-lovers with the help of the Young Avengers.
Oh God, the poor young Avengers every time.
And the only one he didn't really defeat was Svaldafari, who spent most of the fight crying and being consoled by the Hulkling.
Not crying.
That was the depiction, or the one of my notes I seen found. I want to actually read these to see what it all entails. But some more places is there's a dude with Sleipnir's name in Final Fantasy 16. He's one of the boss characters, I believe. And he's supposed to be super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also 8-legged or multi-legged horses in the Final Fantasy games.
Okay.
And that's all I really got. Time for the mayhem. Mayhem?
The mayhem. Okay, I am interested, unbelievably interested to know where you would place this thing in our university.
Are we going with intelligence or use?
Yes.
So, I mean, obvious choice would be him pulling the carriage of a school bus, since he's the fastest. But I also feel like he would be like the dean's horse, and he just hangs out on campus.
Just hangs out, just vibing.
He ends up on the roof sometimes. He ends up just hanging out on top of the pond.
Fair.
I figured he'd just hang out on campus.
I agree.
Maybe he'd terrorize some of the local flora and fauna. Maybe try and race like a kelpie or something.
I could see that.
Oh, or the school now has a horse betting track, and Sleipnir's in charge of it.
Imagine. We just gave the horse a horse betting track.
So since there's so many horse monsters, there's now a stable on campus with a horse betting track, but Sleipnir's not allowed to run because he's the fastest, so he runs it.
Yeah, that's valid.
Or he's a trainer for the horses. We have like a Knuckle versus a Kelpie versus Pegasus versus a unicorn.
I feel like the Pegasus kind of has an advantage.
Well, if he's only allowed to run, it might be a hindrance.
That's true.
I think the Kelpie is in the worst bet because there's not really a lot of water on a track.
Yeah, that's fair. I figured we'd make him like his own water lane. You know what I mean? Like he can't just be left behind.
I mean, he can transform to run on land too, but
He'd just be a little sticky.
Yeah, but is the Knucklevi sticky too? They bump into each other. How would they get apart?
Yeah, because remember I compared them both to that old lady on SpongeBob movie.
Oh yeah,
They're kind of sticky, so
they would have to be at least 2 lanes apart from any other contestant.
yeah.
Just that'd be terrible if they bump into Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
The wings get sticky. Oh man, I just forgot his name. There is a monster called that is known for flipping horses on their side too.
Oh, like a cow tipper?
Yeah, I think it's like a horse tipper or a horse flipper.
Aw. That's not funny, but it is.
I'll have to look it up. I think it's a Greek monster.
It's a Greek monster? Of course it's a Greek.
Yeah.
Of course it's a Greek monster. Like, of course. They would be a horse tipping kind of breed.
Okay, it's not a horse flipper.
Uh-huh.
It's a horse disturber.
Oh, disturber.
It's a spirit devoted to spooking horses.
Okay.
It's called a Taraxipus.
What a vibe.
Where would you place the Sleipnir?
I was gonna say some mode of transportation. So like you'd be right, like the dean or like our transportation, because we would take care of him, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's I don't I don't know about the horse track.
Oh,
But but I would definitely say like the main steed on campus, like the main cool steed on campus. He'd definitely be like a reliable form of transportation for us. We'd take care of him, that kind of thing. Yeah.
if you had to choose one monster to ride Sleipnir besides any deity or Odin, who you think would?
Besides any deity?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just me. How menacing would it be to see that the ice lady that I like, that I can never remember the name of?
Yukiona?
Thank you. Ride up on a fucking 8-legged horse.
That would be menacing.
Right. I feel like that'd be pretty badass.
Would she be carrying her child?
I feel like it could go either way.
I think it'd be a little less menacing if she was riding up with a child.
Yeah, but you got to think like in the gusts of wind and the freezing cold and like fog, it's not going to matter what she's carrying with her. She's going to look scary on an 8-legged horse.
True.
I feel like she'd be a good contender. I would like to pair the Tarask, but it doesn't work like that. So, like, imagine a Tarask rolling up on a giant 8-legged horse. Crazy.
Sleipnir would have to be a lot bigger than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine he'd be huge, but no. Yeah, definitely the Yukiona.
I would like to also go with a yokai from Japan and say Jorogumo, Spider Lady.
Okay. That would also be absolutely fucking. And I see what you did there. But like, okay, so now I have another question for you. Does she side saddle so all 8 legs are off to one side, or does she 4 and 4 it?
She can transform into a regular woman. So
I know that, but that's not what I'm asking right now.
I'd say
As
probably
a
4 and
spider
4.
lady, you think she'd straddle?
Maybe side saddle would probably work the best.
Side saddling would be terrifying.
You know, all the pictures of Sleipnir's legs were 4 in the very front and 4 in the very back, so it was like extra wide.
Mm-hmm.
She could also shoot threads at you and all that fun spidery stuff.
They're just 8-legged buddies.
Yeah. You got any more mayhem?
I don't think so. I think that overall, besides his how he came to be about, I think he's a pretty like low mayhem meter.
Pretty tame in the hands of mortals.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we would freak the fuck out and want to study him, but like it wouldn't be. I don't think he would cause much mayhem with us.
I mean, to be honest, multi-legged horses aren't very uncommon, since they usually all have 4, but sometimes they can have 5 or 6 with some defects. I don't know if they'd actually study him unless they see him running across water.
That's true.
Or flying. I guess with that, we'll start wrapping things up. Thanks to our patrons. Thank you again. We got Nuggy, Mondi, Ruby, Mage. And Chaotic, any news?
I just made it onto a really cool new horror stream team. We have through the end of next week to sign up for my new DBD tournament. If you'd like to sign up, we need signups. And that's it. That's all I got right now.
I thought your sign up sheet ended in May.
No, that's when the tournament is in May. It's May 25th. The sign up ends. Yeah, the sign up ends a week from today. So by the time you guys hear this, you'll have like a day and a half to sign up. 2 days ish.
May the odds ever be in your favor.
Yeah, good luck. Just sign up. You just do it. You'll find it right there on my Twitter. That's it from me. The Wheel of Monotony has not ended, just so everybody knows. It is still going. Still doing its vibe.
Have you won the Wheel of Monotony?
I mean, you can't really win, but I've gotten the Wheel of Monotony before. So, I mean, I guess whatever.
If episodes are late or inconsistent a little bit, it's because it's springtime and there's a lot going on in Silver's background.
Yeah, Silver has like 50 jobs because he doesn't know how to say no to people like he told me to say the other day. But no, Silver doesn't have to say it. It's fine.
I say no.
If money's involved, no, you don't. Don't lie. Don't lie to the people. You got to fund your 3 a.m. Amazon purchases.
They're not all 3 a.m. But farm work, planning, and fixing things. And editing is just hard on the head.
Valid.
Did you have any news on the In Case of Monsters Break Glass?
Yeah, it'll be out next week. By the time you guys listen to this, it'll be out that Friday. And you guys will love it. It's going to be Thank you for listening to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. Silver and Chaotic take you into the depth of the lore and discuss how these legends could affect modern-day society. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or almost any podcast service easiest to you. Dive into the depths of chaos with us every Wednesday, bar Silver and Chaotic not missing their scheduling, and consider joining the podcast Discord or Twitter following even more insider looks and even some D&D sessions. If you'd like some extra special inside looks or even want to be a guest on the show, consider helping us via Patreon. Your help makes such a big difference to us both. Until next time, Mythics, you never know what kind of mayhem we might get into.